Well, greetings and welcome to My Toy Life. I hope you're all in the Christmas spirit. It's that time of year. I hope you're able to find all the presents you're looking for, and I hope you get what you're wishing for. Today, I just want to highlight for a moment a G.I. Joe that I got a few years ago. Get it in the Army guy or the Navy guy. And this guy came with a real good pea coat, and it's high quality, good made. He's in the Navy. He's saluting. He's put his hand down. And he came with a bag. Mine has U.S. Navy on it. Some people got different bags. But he also came with a Santa hat. And he came with some different toys. I've added some different toys that I had around here. Just some toys that, he might be bringing home to his children. Home for Christmas. Get it if you don't have it. It's a really neat figure to have, especially at this time of year. Also, I want to mention Angelo, who did my Santa. If you need flocking, you need to contact Angelo. This is me as Santa, and I really love it. Today, our guest is Hector, and we're going to bring Hector in. So y'all welcome Hector. Welcome, Hector.
Hey, how are you?
We're doing great. Merry Christmas to you, friend.
You too. You too.
Why don't you tell us a minute, just a little bit about you and how you got into collecting, Hector?
Well, actually, I started collecting G.I. Joes when I was very little. That was the toy of choice for my parents. We didn't have a lot of money, so getting G.I. Joes were a big deal. So, and, once you get older, you kind of lose the interest a little bit, I would say, once you start dating and get married, things like that. But back in the early 1990s, per se, there was a little resurgence of G.I. Joe and kind of got the interest, and I started collecting again, just building up my collection from my previous collection, just building it up. It's just been, to me, G.I. Joe is the ultimate toy.
It is. It is.
I look at my grandson and the kids nowadays, they're all into their video games and other things. And I'm like, you guys don't know what you're missing. Getting out there in the yard and getting dirty and playing in the mud with the G.I. Joes, to me, was the best times.
Yes. When I never had a G.I. Joe. I've said that 100 times on all my shows, but I never had one, but the neighbor kids did. And they always let me play with one of the ones that was damaged. He had his thumb chewed off, or they had colored his face or something. They always let me play with one of their Joes. And I was always the bad guy, but it was still fun.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many G.I. Joes my mom threw away because either they were damaged, broken. How many Jeeps she threw away because we sat on it and it broke in half. Right. If I could have all those things back, that would be great.
I had a friend who shared the other day that somewhere in the 80s, he decided he wanted to get back into G.I. Joes. And he remembered that he had buried one at his parents' house.
Wow.
And so he went back and dug him up and cleaned him up, and he still had the G.I. Joe that he buried all those years ago.
That's awesome. No, my parents, several years ago, my parents moved from the house that I mainly grew up in. And my brother came back from one of my old Jeeps. It was missing the tailgate. It was missing the windshield. It was missing the hood. It was just in rough shape, but I was able to get the pieces back together and, put it back together. But I was like, what is this? Oh, it's your old Jeep. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Found it in the attic,
Isn't that wonderful?
So, yeah.
That's a treasured memory for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
And so, am I correct in saying that you've also got into some customizing?
Yeah. I retired about 3 years ago. So trying to find something to keep me busy. So I have a 3D printer. I have a Cricut machine for die, die cutting decals. So I started. What I've been doing is not so much reproductions of old GI Joe decals, but alternate versions. So if you look at my eBay store, you're going to see that I have an alternate version decals for the Swamp Craft. What I did, I added a few more decals to it to make it a little more exciting per se.
Right, right.
I did one for the troubleshooter
Oh,
to
okay.
get more exciting. I did one for the helicopter, Venture Team
Hmm.
helicopter. So I'm just kind of, I sit down and go like, how would this look like to be more realistic? Give it a little more, more color, more things to it. So that's what I've been doing. I've also been, I create things on my 3D machine, which is on my also on eBay. And just a couple of weeks ago, I added to my arsenal a laser cutter. So I start putting in some woodwork, uh, based on that too. So it keeps me a little busy. I'm not going to get rich out of it. Pretty much, I do it for the collectors out there because right now there's not really GI Joe out there, and I may make some people upset about this, but to me, the true GI Joe is a 12-inch GI Joe. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
I did collect the little ones before, which I have since moved on from, and they're great. They have a great storyline. Enjoyed it, but to me, I go back to the roots. The 1964 figure and then from the 70s. That's what I focus on, and to me, that's you know
well,
that's my figure.
yeah, and Hasbro can't make up their mind. Now they're wanting to come
No,
out with a 7-inch and maybe a
yeah,
12-inch or 9 inch. They can't make up their mind. I just
no,
want to
Hasbro.
stick. I'm just going to stick with these.
I was at Comic Con this past July, and I got a chance to talk to one of the Hasbro executives that was at Comic Con. I said, dude, what happened to us 12-inch collectors from the roots, the original GI Joe? Oh, we're working on it. There's not really a whole market out there. I said, I bet you, I bet you, if you put it out there, people are going to buy it. And
Yes.
just now, my son sent me a link. The Hasbro released 60th anniversary GI Joe, proclaiming that they were going to be from the classic. It's a 6-inch figure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's not a
it's junk. It's
yeah,
junk.
it's not. It looks nice in the pictures, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. You can't say that you're going back to GI Joe roots for 1964 when it's not.
No, it's
It's
not.
a 6-inch figure, really. I mean, so
Hmm.
it's just a little
Hmm.
disappointing. The GI Joe Collectors Club is no longer in place. The GI Joe convention is no longer in place. So, um, I guess, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. We're just trying to kind of fill that void the best we can to keep the dream alive and keep the Joe name alive.
Right. Well, Paul Knapp, he started his channel, I guess, about a year ago. I
Yeah.
had I had mine going longer than that, but I wasn't focused on trying to promote the 1/6. And he said, Terry, why don't you just start a show, a live show where you just talk about 1/6? And I believe this is going to be our 10th show. And so, on this show, we focus on the fact that GI Joe is 1/6,
Yeah.
and we talk about the joy of it and the things that we've collected. And it's fun when you're looking for something, like if you're trying to complete a set and you go on the hunt. I remember I found something one time in a dollar. They had a bin there with a bunch of dollar stuff, and I found what I was looking for a
Yeah.
dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. You
That's
have to be patient.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to be
yeah.
patient in those. And, I try to get out to as many shows as I can. I lived in Dallas for a while, so I was going to a DFW show out there, which is really nice. It's kind of grown a lot. Me and my son, we've been going to Comic Con for the past 4 years. So I have found a few things there. You know, right now we got plans to go to the Winter Fest, Joe, in Kentucky,
Yes.
in Shepherd's Kentucky. And actually, just you know, there's a great toy mall in Louisville.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it's I forgot what it's called right now, but it's just toys. It's just all toys. There's no furniture. There's no lamps. It's just a place where you can. It just has all toys. And to me, when I go there, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like a kid.
you feel like you're in KB's.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in my when you know in my preteens, 8, 9 years old. It was great.
Right,
It's really great. It's
right.
like a store. Um, but you know, if the hunt is great, my son, you know, whenever he goes someplace, he say, "Hey, I found this." He just found a lot for me a few weeks ago that had like 5 figures, had a capsule, you know, and things like that. Because you know, I try and say, "Hey, I'm only looking for vintage stuff, 60s and 70s." So he goes out and when he sees something, he gives me a call.
Well, I I have that same situation. Uh, I mentioned one time that I would like to have the half track, and my son, who lives in Tampa, I guess he was searching online or something in Tampa, and he found that someone had it there in Tampa, so he bought it for me and gave it to
Oh,
me as my Christmas present. And it did not have the cannon on it. So when I went to the show, Toylanta, the next year,
oh,
I went to Toylanta, and one of the guys had an entry of the half track, but he had the other guns on it, like you would shoot, you know, like the four machine guns. I forget what they are, but they're
yeah.
four machine guns, and he had it mounted on his half track. So I asked him, I said, "What did you do with the big gun?" And he said, "Oh, I got it home in a box." I said, could I buy it for you? He said, "What's your address?" So I gave him my address, and when I got home, he mailed it to me and didn't charge me a dime.
Oh wow, wow.
What a guy, you know? The
Yeah,
Joe Hobby guys are awesome.
no. And the half track, I tell you, it's really hard to find. I kind of kicked myself in the butt because I had a chance. I went to Toy Story one time. It was right there on the shelf, and I was like, "Oh, that's just so." It was like $100, and I was like, "Man, that's just expensive." Back in the day, and I didn't buy it. And I go like, you know what?
And you don't have one?
I don't have one. I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, everybody that's watching, if you have a half track and it's reasonably priced,
There you go. There you go.
Hector might be looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
I wouldn't take nothing from my half track. No way.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
no,
love it.
that was one of the unique things. You know, back in the 90s or early 2000s, but Hasbro was releasing those things, but it was just great. It was just great.
I have the Greyhound still in the box, and I don't know if I will sell that because right now, and I understand we're in a, you know, we're in a buyer's market where everybody, you know, can kind of choose how much they want to pay. But people have offered me like $40 or $50. It's still in the box that it came in KB's Toys, and it
Yeah.
was sold back then for 50. I'm not selling it right
No,
now for
I
50.
have one in the box too. The winter, you know, there was two. There was like a summer
Yes,
adventure and the winter,
yes.
the winter type. I got the winter type.
Oh,
You're right. It's still in the box. It's right here in my closet on the very top. And I
right.
tell you, since I retired and we moved to this house, my collecting space is shrunk quite a bit. So I did have to part ways with a lot of my stuff, you know, kind of downsize. But it's
Right.
just certain things that don't go away, you know.
No,
And the
no.
Greyhound, that vehicle is one of those vehicles that is still in my closet.
Well, what
Honestly.
highlight a couple of things that are your favorites. Tell us about some of your favorites.
Well, I have to admit, I have an infatuation, and my son makes fun of me. But I'm not sure if you can see it right here. But Green Berets is my weak.
Oh, that's your weak spot, huh?
That's my weak
Okay.
spot. If you see them right there on my Green Berets, and
Cool.
I'm not sure if you can see them there.
Yes, we can see
So
them. They're
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And in fact, my son was just home this past week. He came in and goes, "How many do you have now?" I'm like, 10. He goes, man. I say, I know. It's like a potato chip. You just can't step up one. So if I see a Green Beret, I'm going to buy it. I know I'm going to. I don't think this is reasonably priced, good condition. And I also rescue GI Joes. I've gone
Yes.
to this. I live in Kissimmee, Florida. So there's in Lakeland, there's an antique mall that's really focused on the Disney, um, uh, things over there.
Right. Right.
But I've actually found a couple of GI Joes there in a little baggie. They need a little help, maybe with some restringing, some cleaning. But I rescue them and they become part of my collection. And
right.
I also have a soft spot for Jeeps. I have 10 Jeeps. So I can't pass up a Jeep for some reason. I got too many Jeeps, but it's okay.
Well, the old Joe, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but old Joe, he's in Alabama, and he seems to have a bunch of Jeeps. And one year I told him, I said, I have a what is it? A VFW. I have a VFW in my town, and they would like to have a display of GI Joes. And he brought me a Jeep to display in GI Joes.
Oh, wow.
And he said, Terry, and it's even got the back on it. I even made sure it's got the back on it for you.
It works.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love it. I just saw a Green Beret the other day. I don't know if you'd be interested in something like this, but I saw one the other day for sale, and he had the uniform on, but it had John Wayne's head.
John Wayne.
Yeah, it was John Wayne as a Green Beret.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, he played Green Beret back in a movie. I forgot what it was called. But he did play a Green Beret back in the day for movies. So,
yes.
No, I'll stick with my GI Joe heads. No, and those are some of the things that I do, and I also keep myself busy, customizing. I'm not sure if you can see that in here, but that's all my customizing job on the mobile support center.
Yes, so yes.
That's for my. So
did you make the dome there frosty, or was it?
Yep.
Did it?
No.
Okay.
Yep. I made it frosty. I wanted to kind of black it out per se, but I also wanted to be able to see inside. So I was able to find this. It's like a car spray for tail lights to frost them out, and it worked pretty good actually.
Yeah, I noticed that it was I noticed it was different, and I said, I wonder if he did that himself.
Yeah.
Have you seen Jim Egner's thing that sits on there with the gull wing doors? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty cool actually.
It is pretty cool.
That's a very because actually that one gives you a little more of a realistic feel of what it would look like. Yeah.
Do you 3D print any of the boxes? The cases?
Yeah. So this is just some samples of things that I 3D printed. Here we go.
Okay.
So these are boxes, and you can open them up, for storage.
And are they on your eBay channel?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will provide a link in the description later, so that people can see it and even buy it if they want to. Oh yes, nice.
So this is like a replica of like a Pelican case. So it's quite big. It's much bigger, but you're actually able to fit quite a few things in there. And
neat.
So the last one that I added was from the laser cut.
The wooden ones, yes.
The wooden ones, yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of give it a little sting to make it a little more, aged per se.
Do you auction those, or do you have a set price?
I have a set price for them.
All right. What's the box go for?
Well, this right here, I put them for $15 each.
Okay, good. $15, guys. You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Yeah. So they let them open.
So
they're their design with all the graphics. It all comes in pieces, so I have to put it all together, and then I'll stain it, make it look, give it that little H look. I do plan to put a couple more different designs
Okay.
on eBay
Okay.
this week.
Cool. Cool.
This is another project that I'm working on. So this is a G.I. Joe box.
A
to store your
coffin box.
G.I. Joes.
Yeah. It's a coffin box. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Neat.
this is just like a prototype. This is my test box. So this is going to have a clear plastic here, so you can see it through. It's going to have the G.I. Joe logo. It's the G.I. Joe logos on the side and the front. I do plan to put one with the Adventure Team logo on it. So this is just my first draft on it. So this
what are you gonna sell those for? Have you come up with a price yet for those?
It'll be around, I would say, base, because the sad thing, the wood is not very cheap to buy.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Something like that, but I'll pay about $20. But I would say within $20, $25 each.
Okay, good.
And I was gonna say, I do try to keep my prices reasonable, because I know that I want to be able to, people, if they want to buy it, I want people to be able to afford to buy it. So
well, I think those are good prices, and we want to give you as much advertisement as we can. Maybe send some people your way, and like I said, we'll make sure we put a link in the description box so everybody can find you on eBay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Is there I see you've got 3 helicopters. Do you have more than 3 or just 3?
No, I have 2. I'm not sure if you can see them. I got 2. There are the 21st century toys.
Okay,
those are really cool helicopters. And I have my Adventure Team helicopter up there. If you can see it up there.
Yes,
team
I do see it.
Yeah.
So are you into the Adventure Team or just into G.I. Joe military?
I'm into just G.I. Joe. I was born in '63, so I didn't. By the time I got G.I. Joe, was more Adventure Team. So I do have a lot of Adventure Team things, but I also like the original early '60s G.I. Joe.
I see the radar moving back there.
I wanted to show you that. So
okay, go ahead.
On my 3D projects. So I've been, as you can see here, you can see it. I'm trying to make sure that I show it to you correctly. So you see a tower I've created. That's a weather station that I created.
Oh yes, I see the weather station. Yes.
Yeah. And then this is a radar station that I put together. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure. Do you see it right there?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It lights up, and the radar turns. These are all 3D printed. And
you 3D printed all that then too, huh?
Yep.
And that will be on your eBay channel?
Yes. The radar station is not there yet.
Okay.
But there's the weather station is there. And then I also have here, this is a let's see, this is a outdoor lighting setup that I created.
Okay.
It's got 2 light poles. Like when you go to construction sites and you got those lights that I have out for people to see.
Yes.
Something similar to that.
Wow.
And that's all 3D printed.
What is your weather station going for on eBay?
I think I got it down for 79.
79. Okay.
Right. And this one here is 84.
84 with the lights. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And you got an MP guard in it, huh?
Yeah. And those are all 3D printed. They're sanded down, painted, and assembled by hand. Really, it's all handmade. It comes with all the stickers that you see. It even comes, I was able to find little tiny fire extinguishers.
Oh, really?
I put some, there you go.
There you go.
I put a little decal for it there.
Awesome.
So that's all comes with it.
That is really good, Hector. You did a good job.
Thanks.
That's a
Keeps me
lot to be
busy.
proud of. Yeah, that's a lot to be proud of, man. That's a lot to be proud of. Well, I tell you what, Hector, I have sure enjoyed having you on my show. Is there anything else you want to share? I see you got a few of the dreams up there too.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's still back in the corner.
yeah, I see
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Those
Those
are
are
hard to find. Those are hard to
big.
find too.
I was very lucky to grab those when they first came out.
Okay.
Um, and I was so lucky to get those. It just you're right. They're very hard to find nowadays. Very hard to find, and they're
Yeah,
great figures. They
they
really are
are.
great figures.
They really are.
Yeah.
I think that if Hasbro and them could have teamed up, the hobby would have brought a resurgence because those things there. I think the first one that I found in Tuesday morning.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was probably because some store didn't sell it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they had it in Tuesday morning, and I had
Yeah.
never even seen them. I never heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I said, hey, I'm getting this.
Yeah. Now you see on top, you see Miss Fear
Yes.
on top and Mademoiselle Marie on top. I got those
Yes.
on Tuesday morning. They
Oh,
were like
okay.
$10. They were like $10 each on Tuesday morning.
Great
And I
deal.
bought like 4 or 5 of each because I bought everything they had.
Sure.
I since moved on from some of them. But I bought everything they had because I was like, really?
Well,
why not?
I got the Mademoiselle too at the Tuesday mornings. The Miss Fear I never could find, but I was going through a bin where they had Joe's in Ziploc bags, and they just had a whole bunch of them in there, and they said $5 for anyone you want. And I found Miss Fear in one of the baggies, so I got Miss Fear, but I don't have all the stuff. Yeah. I only had what she was wearing in that, in the I think it's the green with the yellow is the only thing that I got. But at least I got Miss Fear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think if you find those now today on eBay, you're gonna be putting out a pretty penny for them right now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely correct. And all the other collector stuff.
You said something about the Joe Club. Do you have any of the Joe Club figures from the last few year or whatever years they were?
Oh, I got quite a few. So I have the 8 Legs of Danger, the Terror of the King. I got the Unknown Heroes, the Flying Tigers, the Tarawa. I also have, let me see what else I have. I got the Green Berets. I got the operation of Pegasus Bridge. So I got probably about I got quite a few now. My favorite of all of them is the one that has the Marine, Jungle Fighter Marine. Also with this figure right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
This figure right here.
Okay.
Right
okay. Yes. Yes, yeah. I do.
That's my all-time favorite right there.
Wow, that's nice. So, that is nice.
So if you can see the other ones on top.
Yeah, I see your M1 too. My son had one of those M1s. I don't know if he still has it, but those were neat little things too.
Yeah, I think it's been sitting idle for so long that it's not working very well. The motor's not running, correctly.
Right.
But I can't get rid of it. That's one of those unique. That's one of those unique things that 21st century toys really released a lot of nice stuff. They really did.
They did.
But I have a hard time. I had a Stuart Tank John, if you saw on the left to it. But
yeah, my son had 6 of them at one time.
Oh,
and
wow.
we did a little photo shoot of all of them, but he has started getting rid of them because he just has no space anymore. Those take up a lot of space.
Yes, they do.
And
yes,
I have one, and he's still, I think he's going to keep the one, because I have the static one and he has one of the ones that's remote control.
Right, that's what I have. Yeah, it still works. So I still go outside sometimes and I put it out there and I still run it.
It's neat.
Yeah.
It's neat. We've
Yeah.
got a video on this channel of it running and firing.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it'll fire that little projector.
yeah.
What is the plane that's back there? Is that a P-47?
Which one?
The one right below all the soldiers there.
No, that's all the 21st century airplanes. It's oh my gosh, it's
Oh, okay, I see it.
I can't think of them right now.
Yeah, that's one of their dive bombers. Yeah,
right. It's right at the tip of my tongue, but I can't.
The Dauntless. Is it? You think it's the Dauntless?
You know the planes that appear in the Bermuda Triangle back in the day.
Yes.
I can't think of it. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name now.
I think that's the plane that President Bush was shot down in. I think that's the same plane.
Yeah, it may have been.
Yeah,
don't know, but it's one of those things that, again, 21st century toys did release some really nice stuff. They really did. It's so sad that they didn't work out, but
no.
I told my wife, I say, if I was to hit the lottery and get some money, I will reach out to Hasbro and buy the license to GI Joes and bring them back.
Well,
it takes a lot of money to do that.
I bet you all those molds are still over there somewhere, because I'll tell you why I believe that. Marx went under. They used to create the Johnny West figures,
right? And
they went under. And every now and then you'll hear about somebody who has a mold here or there or yonder. Yeah. And now there are people making them in Mexico and exporting them to America. So those molds are still out there. They're just people that have them are just keeping them secret.
Well, but they do if you have somebody that lives in Brazil, the Falcon's still out there. They're making Falcon, which is the GI Joe equivalent in Brazil. Then the stores right now, as we speak, they're in the stores. Nice sets, really nice sets. You can buy them on eBay. They're quite pricey, but you can go to a store right now in Brazil and buy the Falcon figure because they're actually on the shelves. And,
wow!
And
what do they sell for on the shelves in Brazil?
I think based on their dollar, which I'm not sure exactly what it's called, it's like 30 or 40 on their dollar side. Once you convert it to our dollar and the shipping and everything else, it can cost you $100 some for it.
Sure. I was just wondering what the price point was in Brazil, because that's still a good price. $30 is still a good price.
No, absolutely. And I don't know if you know this, but there was a guy back in the early 2000s that was able, he gained, I don't know how he did it, he gained, there's pictures of him online. There's what they call the Hasbro morgue. And it's a warehouse in Rhode Island close to their headquarters where they store all kinds of old toys. And there's hundreds of GI Joe stuff in there from the 60s and 70s. Or so he was back in the day.
And so he was just hoarding them, you think, or was he? No,
this is the company. This is Hasbro themselves. It's a warehouse where they actually keep backups or keeps extras, or others of everything. And the pictures that he took were mind-boggling. Pictures of Jeep in the boxes, brand new, still in the box, all kinds of stuff, figures, everything. And not just GI Joe, every toy that Hasbro has made for the past 30, 40, 50 years.
There's a copy of it there, huh?
Right, they put copies in there for whatever reasons, but they put copies in there. And he gained access for a private tour of this place. And there, back in the day, Patches of Pride, before they closed the doors, there were some pictures of him on their newsletter. he actually was taking pictures with different GI Joe items that were in that warehouse. I would love to go into that warehouse, but
Yes, yes. I
imagine.
I loved Patches of Pride too. I hated to see him go. He was such a
Yeah,
good guy.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that have just, either moved on or whatever. Because I used to have my clothes made by a real good couple. They could sew anything, but they gave that up too. I think her eyes were just getting harder to
Oh
see.
yeah.
But hey, there's some really good people in this hobby, and I'm grateful that I've gotten the chance to meet them. And I think I've just met another one. You're a hero, Hector. Thank you, man. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. I'd like to
Let's
share what I have.
yeah, let's keep this hobby going.
Absolutely.
You have
Absolutely.
a Merry Christmas, Hector, and we will
You too.
see you later. And
All
listen,
right. Take
everybody, there
care.
are going to be links in the bio down there in the description box. Go buy something from Hector and keep him going. And remember, toys are fun.